Welcome back to the Echosetter University, and in this module I'm going to talk to you about building your brand. So some of you may not have one yet, maybe you want to launch a separate one for your AI stuff, completely up to you. The one thing I'm going to start with is a big reason why agencies maybe fail to even launch is a lot of the time they spend way too much time doing this, okay? So I'm just going to show you, again, there's no pre-done prompts. I'm just going to always show you throughout this, whole university how I would just do things like from scratch, how I use the tools I have access to deliver the same results that you can deliver on your own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to advise you that you don't spend longer than half an hour on this to sit down, open up Claude. So you need a Claude subscription. You can probably use a GPT subscription. You can use Claude though for a lot of this stuff, so I would recommend you use Claude because it's more of a creative tool than GPT, at least last time I checked. And you're also going to want to use Ideogram. Ideogram pricing wise is pretty cheap. I think it's like $7, $8, $9. And if you're not using it for your ads all the time, or you want to use something else, that's fine. And same with logo creation. But what we're going to want to do is spend, as I said, half an hour to nail down the color scheme of your brand, where, for example, you're going to use that maybe in your landing pages, and your logo, which will probably match your color scheme or not. But don't overthink it, okay? At the end of the day, the logo behind me, Echosetter, was built in literally half an hour, because in reality, most brands making like millions of dollars a year probably, didn't spend much time deeping it that much until you're making a lot of money. You might want to rebrand. So, pick something you like. Doesn't have to be too crazy, but just to simply start things, I'm going to go ahead and jump into how we can just generate some names to start off with and then kind of, bring the context out, okay? So let's go ahead and jump straight into it. So there's a few things we can do to start with. If you want to really kind of maximize the output of your AI, you always want to start with a deep research. That deep research can be about branding, color theory, and things like that. If you actually want to make the most of it, you can just go plain. But let's just say I am looking to create an AI agency where I deliver AI automation services such as speed to lead, reactivation, AI receptionists, AI forever follow-up, to name a few, but I do not have an existing brand name, colors. Now, you might want to, it's up to you, kind of go broad with your naming, naming convention. Echosetter is pretty broad. Obviously, I kind of built it for the ecosystem, so it's like an Echosetter ecosystem, so there's like a play on words. And echo is for voice, right? But you might want to go down like a beauty road. So if you do want to go into a niche specific and sell niche specific AI assistants, it's not a bad idea. There's no wrong or right way. It's completely up to you whether you want to niche down on this service or whether you want to niche down on the industry or niche down on both. If you want to say, in the beauty industry, then you can just say that and it will just add a bit more context. But for this kind of sake of things, I'm just going to go broad. I am targeting broad, so not a niche specific area, because it will ask me if I don't say that anyway. I want you to understand and grasp branding and color psychology to support the creation of my brand name and color scheme, as afterward I will ask you to provide me with names, brand themes, and this will go into logo creation too. I'm going to hit OK, and then I'm going to, wait, because what you're going to see here is you're then going to see some, so it's already asking what tone, personality, am I targeting B2B, do I have strong preferences? Okay, let's say I am targeting like approachable. I want to be approachable and minimalistic. My primary target is SMBs. For those that don't know, SMB is small to medium-sized business. That's basically every company in like the high street, most of them. Enterprise is like obviously a very big business. And I don't like pinks, purples, feminine tones. Is that the right word? I think that's culturally correct or socially correct. We'll find out. But yeah, I'm going to put that in, and it's going to go anyway and do some research, okay? So you can then, it's going to take maybe 5 minutes. So I'm going to jump in once this starts. I'll just wait for this so I can show you. You'll start to see, ready? Let's watch this. AI agency branding. It's going to create a research plan, and it's going to basically attack all the things about color theory and branding, because if you prompt an AI without doing this, the net of content it could reference is pretty significant. So you already see here, there's going to be a bunch. So it's going to go into all these kind of things, and it's going to capture probably like 300 sources, 200, 300, 400 sources. So yeah, it'll take about 5 minutes. So instead of waiting for 5 minutes, I'm going to give it a pause and show you the result afterwards. So now what we're going to want to do is we've got all this valuable information on like all this stuff. You don't really need to read it. I mean, you can read it if you want to kind of improve your knowledge, and you'll see where it comes from. It's like 416 sources in 5 minutes. Yeah, across all kinds of different businesses. The reason why it's good, as I said before, is if you don't do this, it's going to grab random information. A good way of explaining this is like if I ask to maybe code something, but I say code something for a high level, but I don't do the deep research. There's a high chance that it will code something that isn't actually viable for Go High Level, because it didn't actually take a look at the platform properly, like the dev logs and all that kind of thing. Anyway, the one thing you're also going to want to do, because your logo is a name and you might not secure this domain yet, is kind of get a list of names and also check the domain. Now this did work with Claude. You can also use DeepSeek. I found DeepSeek really helpful for this in terms of a deep research, because I know they obviously use X and stuff and a lot of other pieces of information. So I'm just going to say, firstly, I would like to get 20 to 30 naming ideas, and also cross-reference their viability to secure as domains. You can either use, I think, .com or .ai. AI probably, yeah, with .ai. Yeah. And then you do the research again. Again, I'm using Opus 4. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to get, hopefully, it should be able to cross-reference the availability. So you see, give it a second. So all we're doing right now is we're just like building the brain, I guess, of the AI on this task. And what I'll do for you guys is I'll just save these documents and these outputs so you don't have to do it. Again, the research might change based on your input. If it's for the beauty industry or for a niche specific thing, like real estate, beauty, solar, it will definitely change your knowledge on the AI. So I recommend doing it yourself, because it will change the output. But the end point really being, when you start something, wherever the task may be, provide it with some kind of starting point with research before you then start prompting it. So it's now doing the research of the naming generation. I'll give it a quick pause and then we'll get back into it again. Okay, so I did a bunch of searches. I'm just going to talk you through them, because even when I prompt, sometimes I get really bad stuff out, okay? So I asked it to go and get me a list. However, the list it gave was like not great, and single words, which is usually premium, and I forgot to kind of mention that to the AI. So some of these domains are worth like $300,000, which is crazy and not worth it, obviously. So I kind of highlighted about the whole premium domain. And then I was trying to, off the back of my head, go into like angles, right? And this is where like niching down in the product or is in the service, isn't like receptionists or forever follow, where it can be helpful, or like niche specific. But if you don't do that, it just takes some time to get a word that's like broad and like isn't really applicable to this one thing. Anyway, so I kind of think about names that link with that insinuate like some kind of like link to voice or automation. Anyway, this one came up. Cadence IQ. Now, as someone who used to play drums quite a lot as a kid, I kind of like that. Cadence is like the motion, right? The right timing of things to work properly. If you have incorrect cadence, you have a very poor rhythm, and therefore a rhythm of your business. It can kind of link. IQ is intelligence, so I was like, okay, well, that works. Anyway, I checked it out, it's worth like £23, so we're going to go with Cadence. Now, what I'm going to say is, I'm going to select this. I want to use the domain. This is free. Based on my desire to go into the AI agency space with more minimalistic, whoa, I butchered my spelling here, minimalistic. Oh my God, I can't see my keyboard. Never mind. Minimalistic. Never mind. It's like, with more minimalistic vibes. More minimalist vibes. But use one core color to make things pop. Can you provide me a sample color scheme and apply it to a section of a website just so I can select the look and feel? Give me 3 variations to pick from. Now what it's going to do is now I'm going to take Cadence, which is the name, not the logo, and go into the branding, so the color scheme. So let's first do the color scheme. So it's going to go away now and do the color schemes. Okay, so after a few minutes, we've come back and we can now see what it's created. So here we have the electric blue variation 1. I mean, to be honest, you could just use that as a logo. But we'll go into ideogram just to play around anyway. I kind of really like these kind of like highlights of a single word, makes things pop. I like the orange. Orange is nice. Bit more of an energetic feel. And then we have the deep teal, which is obviously a bit more calming. Honestly, any of these really work, it's more up to you. I mean, my Echosetter website is blue, and my logo is blue, so let's pick orange and be different. So with this energetic orange, what we're going to do is say, I like variation 2 with the orange. Now, can you provide me with the ideogram prompt to create a minimalistic logo for the brand Cadence IQ to ensure consistency. And we're going to hit enter on that one. It might not do this. Yeah, okay, that it should work as an artifact. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this prompt. Just check. Now this is where prompting can be a lot of back and forth. Because with AI imagery prompting it can be a bit annoying. But anyway, let's create a bunch here. So what I can do is you're going to copy this. And you're going to go into ideogram, which is an AI imagery creation. Sure, you can spend more time on things, but I'm simply showing you the basics of how I would do things. And we're going to go in and do this. Let's go crazy. And we're going to go in here. We got submit some more. Let's just do this. Go in here. Let's just create a bunch, right? Just so we have a nice test. And this is, by the way, exactly how I built Echosetter. It's exactly the same steps I took. And I stuck with one. Now these will be really bad, so what we have to do is then look at like why that was the output versus the prompt, and then play around with things, okay? So let's just give it a sec, and then we're going to jump in and we're going to take a look at all of the ones we have made and just see which one's kind of popping, you know? You never know. Okay, so first off, it's not, some of these, like, you don't want this kind of, you want like a plain background, so I need to reprompt that. It's not bad. None of these are technically bad. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's cool. I dig this. Let's go in here. Plain background, so I can use for website creation. Actually, I really like this one. I can actually probably use this. This might be pro though. Okay, fine. I'm going to do this for like as cheap as possible, so I'm not going to cheat. I won't cheat. Okay. I'm going to go here. And let's go crazy. So this is the one we have so far. Let's see if we can get a better one. Come on. It's still not fully, is that fully clear? Too bad I can fix some of this with Canva. Let's just do a few more. Let's check the prompt. It does say plain white background. Okay, let's just try. Oh, that's cool. That's kind of cool. Do we want the IQ to be orange? Maybe we need something to be orange. Okay, fine. Make the IQ orange. I think if you have orange in the main, like the main, I mean, this is personal preference, right? Like but you can kind of see how I'm starting to play around with this. Let's stick it back in here. Let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. Let's go. Chart. Honestly, it's a numbers game, guys. I think we just have to run through a bunch and see when it starts working. Sometimes it can mess you around. But I'm being picky, to be fair. I could pick some of these. Actually, I kind of like that. I like that. Yeah, I like that one. It's fun. So we're going to upscale this bad boy. Let's upscale it. And there we have our logo, and we have up here our brand colours. And what I want you to do, and I'll make like a worksheet just to kind of show what I've done, is you can take these colours for long term, just, I don't know, if you want to add graphics, whatever you want, you can let the AI know. And you want to save your logo here, just give that a save. And you can just honestly crop this in Canva if you want. So you just have like just on that. You could in theory just crop this bit in Canva, and it's kind of like, you can just piece this kind of stuff, you can do a bunch of stuff. But that is exactly how you can build the start of a brand, and then obviously we need to go and get the domain. So I'll see you next time on getting the domain.